John Kennedy and Liam Brosnan there. Suited and booted and almost late actually. Well, John was here loads of time. Liam had trouble parking his big van. You should have a small car, Liam.
Little scooter.
Get in and out. And of course, if you have any comments on that Kerry Derry game, or indeed the Kerry Waterford game in the ladies yesterday, you can contact us on 066 712 3666 or text us on 083 300 3300 or WhatsApp as well. Ivan and Keane are looking after all the backroom stuff for this evening. Now, last year Kerry travelled to Donegal and they lost their league opener Roy Point. And last Saturday, Liam, we repeated it again, lost by a point. I would say though, there's a little bit more hope having lost by a point this time than there was maybe last year. Maybe less negativity maybe.
There is, and I suppose when you always lose, there's a big kind of soul searching done in Kerry after, no matter what game, whether it's McGrath Cup or League or Championship.
Everything gets magnified.
Everything, yeah. But coming out Saturday night, it was the first time after losing the first league game for me that I came away with there's green shoots there. And what I mean by that now, we had a lot of we three new guys starting, and and I thought that when you look into it deeply, like, I think there is potential there for the year that these guys can offer Kerry something. You have the two Gainies, you have Killian Burke, like Sean O'Brien in the middle of the field. I know, I suppose coming off before half time isn't nice, but at the same time he was up against two of the best midfielders in the country. Last year, you could say, and I think it's going to take time for any young fella to bed in. Like, we're gone from senior county championship now; they're inside with Kerry, so there's only a handful of players, and I was even thinking about that, like David Cliff or Colin Cooper, who on their debuts really stand out. Now, it's going to take time for these fellas, and I do think that there is potential there. Joe O'Connor around the middle of the field, another fella as well. As well as we'll talk about Graham O'Sullivan, and Dylan Casey and these guys. But I do think I came away Saturday night and I said, yeah, there's green shoots there, because Derry came down fully loaded for us, and there was a lot of surprises, and there was even my programme here, there's so much blue by I can hardly read the names. There were so many changes, but no, I was happy enough with our second half performance.
So your father hope?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
So you're either father good hope or father no hope, John. So which one would you be after the next?
Yeah, it would be similar enough, I'll be honest. I suppose when you saw the changes by Derry with the Glen lads in,
how much of a statement of intent was that? I mean, 3 days ago they were winning and everybody saw it, and Mickey Hart apparently put a phone call in, left it to themselves, didn't say, listen, you have to, or a whole lot. They turned up. How much of a statement of intent was it that, yeah, we're going to come to Kerry with 13 of the 15 players that actually started in the All-Ireland semi-final, and how much of an intent was it from the word go that they wanted to win this?
Huge intent, really, and like it says, I suppose Mickey Hart wants to put down a marker. He's won the McKenna Cup. Obviously his intent is to stay up in the league first of all and see what happens later on. It's a strange one. It's seeing how competitive Ulster is. Being honest with you, because for these lads it's going to be non-stop. But look, Conor Glass is the captain. Ethan Doherty, they came in there and they were back training 2 or 3 nights after winning in All Ireland. That it shows the dedication they have. Obviously they see something under Mickey Hart. They were so close last year, but coming down with that team, Kerry with a few newcomers, an inexperienced team really, it could have gone horribly wrong for us, but it didn't. Could we have won the game? We could. Did we deserve to win it? Not really.
The importance of the comeback, that was the thing that sent us home maybe a small bit happier.
I think so. And
goal chances.
We created 5 goal chances. And I mean, when they look back on it, Stephen O'Brien and Jason Foley will be wondering why they didn't convert. Because they were in control, going through great moves. But a lot of positives for Kerry as well, even though we lost. But unfortunately, with the competitiveness of the league, it's a huge game in Clones next weekend.
Massive, yeah.
Because especially what Monaghan did to Dublin.
Yeah.
So it goes to show that, if you don't get a result in Clones, you have Mayo coming to town, you have Dublin the week after. So it's huge. But they're great games to get.
Yeah.
And it's we've often said there's a huge step up from County Championship to National League. And there's a step up into Championship, and some of the younger fellas, they saw that the last night, but that'll stand to them.
Yeah. Let's go through the game. First of all, anybody was there the last night, maybe you didn't see it on the television, but Liam, the weather conditions for the league games. I mean, from the word go, these games don't start fair in a sense, because you have a gale of wind, and even the last night the wind wasn't even blowing straight down the field, it was more to diagonal. And I suppose you're inside the dressing room then, Liam, does that change your game plan? I mean, the weather, I mean, obviously it has to, but I mean, you have a game plan where you're either going to kick it in where Kerry have seemed to favour kicking, and all of a sudden then the wind destroys that game on you, and then you're on the back foot.
Yeah, and for anyone that wasn't there, like, the wind really was, and it was unusual because usually it's blowing down in towards the Horns end. It was blowing the opposite way, so it was suiting Derry, and you could see Kerry came out, and which I liked as well, is they had a bit of a game plan where we wanted to kick it into the full forward line. Shawnee Shea was inside, a couple of high ones, but the wind was kind of tailing it a small bit. So I know the Kerry supporters, we were kind of itching a small bit that we were over and back to field and stuff like that, but conditions were tough in the first half. That
dictates the game then, obviously. I mean, obviously, if the wind's blowing directly through, the ball goes straight, absolutely. But like you said, it was holding it up. I mean, and holding it up in a way that it helps defenders rather than forwards.
And not only that, Derry kind of set up 15 men inside their 45. So it made it even harder again. So but we did punch a couple of holes alright at times. I'd liked it a bit more. That we hit guys off the shoulder, but I suppose when you were playing against the breeze like that, you were kind of holding up the ball, running down the clock, hoping for that. But in the second half, we got, we really got into it. But definitely the first half, a lot of people were saying Kerry were poor in the first half, and it wasn't so much Kerry were poor, it was just conditions were tough. Yeah,
let's stay in the first half there for a second. I mean, Kerry opened brightly. I mean, to be fair to them, they were competitive. We got a couple of points taken easily enough. We ran into trouble then, John, where I suppose Oran Lynch, well rehearsed move now at this stage, he comes out a goal, he blocks the space, he puts the squeeze on, and for the first time in a long time we saw Shane Ryan under pressure with kickouts.
Yeah, and a very good point, Donal, because like I suppose the positioning of Oran Lynch, it was very cute what he did. And
it was up in the Kerry half
back line. Where you'll be going to, where Shane Ryan will be kicking it, that's gone. Then you have to look where and he was actually kicking it out. He was forcing the kick in, being honest, and with the wind, like Liam said, I thought that his positioning was excellent. No, Lynch got caught. And it's always liable to happen. A keeper will get caught if you're continuously out there, but it's a tactic. But I would say as well, the tactics that Mickey Hart had the last night, I think it doesn't suit the way Derry play. Derry are a free running team with a lot of pace. I think under Rory Gallagher and Kieran Merna,
they were more attacking.
They expressed themselves. When you have the forwards that they have, Glass and Rogers in the middle, and your man McKinless coming from centre half back. I think that he's kind of stymieing their game, because as you said, Liam, they're 15 behind the ball, and you're actually stopping a natural ability and a natural flow. And it could hinder them.
And what they do as well is, when you play 15 men, you're keeping the opposition in a game, because you're not going out punishing them.
Yeah, but that said, I mean, when they did break, I mean, they broke 100 miles an hour. I mean, they walked right through our defence or midfield. I mean, McKinless, Doherty, they just seem to know. They seem fitter. They seem faster. Are they maybe at a different level of where our training is?
They probably are, I'd say, game wise, because the McKenna Cup is probably more a competitive. They're getting better games.
Yeah, they got nothing off Donegal for free. I mean,
like our McGrath Cup is only kind of it's a competition where you go to kind of stretch the legs more than anything else, because even against Cork we had to make 11 changes. So whereas in the McKenna Cup there were teams go out to really to win it, and I think that just probably they had that little slight edge, but at the same time they didn't create too many goal chances. So even though they were breaking us down to a certain point, I can't remember was there any one-on-one with Shane at any time. So that's another kind of positive.
They did, but they outscored us 15 scores to 10. Like, I mean,
well, they did, and at one stage they were in cruising. They were in cruise control. All right,
they got. John, the diagonal ball. I mean, obviously teams are looking at ways of trying to break down the blanket. I mean, you either go through the blanket at speed with fellas running off the shoulder, which isn't all that easy when the weather conditions are. We did try an awful lot of kicks, diagonal kicks. Gavin White diagonal kick across. Maybe Shawnee Shea stayed inside looking for a lot of them. Again, the wind probably disrupted the game plan, but it seems to be something that we see a little bit more of in the last couple of games.
Yeah, I think the diagonal, like you said, the way of breaking them down is a good accurate ball in. We tried it last night, but the conditions, the wind, it wasn't conducive to to that type of a ball. Just a few went out over the line. You know, Shane Ryan had one or two as well that went, remember, you know, Dara Moynihan. It didn't stick. But it's great to see that, because, like, you know, with so many Derry players back, we had 5 or 6 defenders marking space, holding possession across the field. We couldn't shoot from distance because of the wind, into the wind. So it was frustrating. And then we forced the ball, I think, a few times, and it suited Derry. But I think down the road, that type of ball in, when you have Shawnee Shane, you have Clifford inside, you know,
I think that's the road we're kind of looking at.
I think it is.
The tactic, yeah.
And as well as that, Liam, Paddy Clifford is one of the best distributors. And that will suit, that type of play will suit Paddy, delivering that diagonal ball in. That's one of his fortes, really.
Yeah. Half time, I mean, you're in the stand at half time, and Kerry Spurs can be fairly unforgiving bunch. I mean,
for sure.
To be fair, even the majority of people that were there, I mean, they weren't quite happy, to be fair about it, you know. Conditions, tactics, didn't matter. You're at home, you're trailing, you needed a big second half. Whatever was said in the second half, the sleeves were rolled up. Were you very pleased at the way Kerry came out the second half and approached the game?
I was, but that's gone back to conditions again, because it enabled us to attack.
It was our turn
to go at them, and Derry were finding it hard to get the ball from their kick out in as well, because if you look at our goals, the turnovers, they were because Derry couldn't kick it quick enough in another kind of way, you know. So yeah, look, this time of the year, January football, you are going to have to play the elements as well. But unfortunately, I just don't, you know, our goal chances that we missed, you know, kind of hurt us. It hurt us at the end. Now, you could say people talk about Stephen O'Brien's too, but that's just lack of games. No, I wouldn't call it. No, that's all it is. We've all seen it in the first game, even the county league match. Your first county league match. You're not. Yeah, you'll be a bit rusty, thinking wise. And I suppose he wanted to do the right thing, which was to pass it. But obviously, the right thing was to put it low, past the goalkeeper. But I guarantee you, he won't do that again. You know, so it's something that
we'll get on to them. Chris McCaig, of course, the fullback, had a great game. He gave an interview to Cahir Kane after the match, and just his thoughts on it from a player's perspective. Obviously, we get the manager's perspective, and that, to be fair, is PR kind of jam jar. But this guy says, I thought tonight was a nice advertisement for what football can be played like. There were structured attacks and defences were there, a lot of kicking tonight and a lot of movement. The pace of that game, I thought, was very high and a fairly good game of football. I think football's fine if we embrace that it has changed. I think there's too many intricacies in the game that people are still catching on to, and I just don't think there's need for all the talk about rule changes. Now, he's obviously referring to the goalkeeper coming out of goal, and everybody wants the goalkeeper to stay in goal and no back passes and the whole lot. He's the full back, John. He's playing the game. He sees no need for any changes. He's enjoying the way it is, and he uses the word structured attacks, structured defences. Are we getting to a stage, John, where we are structuring our players to play a structured game and really eliminating the guy who might go on a solo run on his own and do something fantastic?
Yeah, I think we are, and like, you know, from a player's point of view, that's you know, the rule changes. We're changing rules at different times, and is that obviously there's thought put into it, but is it improving our game? Yep. I don't think it is. Do you know, and like it's you had two very good footballing sides out there last night. They wanted to play. That's, you know, these are easy games to ref. No matter what rules, players will adapt. But I think that the pace and the footballing that both teams had, you could see that. And there's going to be very little between those teams down the road. But I think that something that came through over the weekend was the standard of refereeing, and that's another story. I think the inconsistency and the lack of communication between the umpires and the referee, I think it's something, there's too much time and effort going into it. When you see umpires hesitating, and you've been an umpire, Liam, when you see an umpire hesitating, looking across at the other fella, the positional sense of them, and a few instances in the last few weeks we've seen it, you know, blatant mistakes made. It's not good enough, and I think, you know, that maybe that should be focused on more than changing the rules, because sometimes we change the rules. The kick out has to go so far. We have to do this. We want so many men behind the ball, so we're going to have so many men up front. You know, teams, inter-county management teams will come up with a remedy and a solution to the problem that's created, no matter what's created. So I think that it's when teams want to go out and play football, there's very little wrong with it. But if you want to be negative,
But it's all right for him now to be saying that when he has 14 fellas playing in front of him. So he doesn't want a one-on-one situation as a full back, so he'd like the rule to stay.
Yeah.
But for me it doesn't conduce to good football, when you have 15 men behind the ball. Because
what he's saying is that football has moved on. It's changed. I mean, get over it. It's changed. It's not the way it used to be. We can't all play great football like John Kenny done with the boys back in the 80s and all that. If it was great football at all, I mean, I wonder if we go back and watch it. I mean, there was an awful lot of it, and if you do go through the golden years, there's fantastic snippets. But I mean, I'd imagine, John, there was an awful lot of bad football played in between that too, was there?
There's no doubt, Tom. There was a lot of misplaced passes, a lot of poor play, and no matter what era you're in, you go through it and you'll see that, and I think the levels of fitness and all that, it has evolved. And whether we like it or not, we all want to go to see a game where you have high scoring, you have one-on-one attacks and all that, but that's gone. If you're a management team and you want to win, Mickey Hart wants to win All Ireland with Derry. Whatever it takes, he'll do that. If it means playing 15 behind the ball for 60 minutes and breaking up and getting enough scores to win it, so be it. It's all about bringing Sam home, and he is certainly under pressure to do it, because a lot of negativity from his own county in Terrace, maybe even from Derry, maybe from Louth. We've heard a lot about it, but you have to give credit to the man. He's after putting his neck on the line. He owes nothing to football, and he's gone in there. He wouldn't win with Derry unless he sees a chance of winning.
Though, but I can see him winning in All Ireland playing Shane McGuigan back in the 13-yard line. It'd be like us playing David Clifford back in the full back line. You're not going to do it.
Don't put a bad compliment now. You're only playing that out next Christmas. I don't see them now. Come here, let's go through some of the comments. We have a lot of comments in. We'll go through some good, some bad, some pretty okay as well. We'll fly through as many as we can, and thanks very much for your comments this evening. 06671236666 and 083 okay, let's go. We'll start with positives if we can find a couple. Really disappointed with some of the players that were built up by the panel over the course of the championship. That's you guys, not me, obviously. It really does show that the gap is too high to surmount from county championship to inter-county.
There's a big gap there, but it's not. They just need time. Yeah. They're young fellas coming into a professional setup. This is the inter-county now is a professional setup, so they're walking into corners for the first time in the last couple of months behind. So it's going to take a bit of bidding. And then for our first game to meet Derry, if you were a midfielder and you were coming across Rodgers and Glass in the middle of the field.
But in fairness, we've said that several times, and like Jack has to try these guys. You'll never know, and they will learn from it. You'll never see a new guy coming in, rarely getting a place in the team and keeping it.
Like I said, David Clifford, Colin Cooper.
Correct, they're exceptional players. But in fairness to Jack, he's given guys their chance. He's put them out with a fairly strong team, and as you said, Liam, if you were Sean O'Brien the last day coming up against Brendan Rodgers and Glass, the best midfield player in the country, he will learn from that. And Killian Buck the same. The Gainies, they'll all learn from that, and they're not going to be dropped. They mightn't be stopped to the next step, but they're going to be brought on. It's a learning process,
and we need them to be improving.
We definitely do
throughout the year.
We definitely do.
Guy made his debut in the championship in 92. Midfield, straight into midfield he went.
Seamus Moynihan,
yeah. Lost the game, of course. Kerry fans went out that gate that night thinking this guy ain't going to go nowhere, and he one of our greatest footballers ever after.
My own club man, Seamus Gann, I remember the first day he tugged out in the middle of the field for Kerry and coming off. And if you go down through, David Moran was another fella as well to start off. It's a hard position.
Mark O'Shea getting an awful run around as cornerback.
So we have to be patient with these guys, because they are going to offer us something. Yeah,
Donal, it was a good match to watch. I felt Kerry were a small bit rusty, but the foundations are definitely there, and I will still be hopeful. There you go, he's in your camp. Stephen O'Brien's missed goal chances were crucial in the outcome. Had we got a third goal, I felt we would have won, and even won by a good few points to spare. Kerry are not taking their points and easy scores again, very similar to last season. We kept on going for goals and getting turned over, so maybe a point or two there. Derry played well, and by playing their Glen players, they've shown that they really have no depth to their team, while Jack has plenty winners to come back in, so that from that perspective Kerry did pretty well. How about that argument, Liam? 13 of the 15 Derry boys who played in the semi-final last year played. The fact that he brought in 3 from the Glen pushed a couple of more fellas down off the bench. Maybe the depth isn't on the panel in Derry that we think.
Well, no, and like John said, and Mickey wants to lay down a marker. And our championship now is different to what it was 10 years ago. Like, we're out in April in the championship. So they're going to be out as well. So it's a very close season now. So teams want to get off on a good footing. They're after getting 2 points. Like we said, if we lose next weekend, there's even going to be more pressure on Jack, for the Mayo game. So, and it's all about maybe not having too much pressure on you early and get the fans off your back a small bit and let things breathe. So, but look, it's it was a statement by Derry coming down with a full team the weekend.
And Derry needed to win too, because are they facing Tyrone next week?
Tyrone next week. So that's,
at least Mickey Hart has 2 points going there. Kerry could have won it, but Derry deserved it from the type of direct running football that they played. Really disappointed in the Kerry wing backs, who never showed for kickouts. It's easy to blame the goalkeeper, but when you have no option, all you have to do is fire down the middle. And then one before the break, they needed Dermot O'Connor to come in to settle the midfield. Yeah, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about it a little bit more as well after the next break. And you're welcome back to Terrace Talk. Loads of comments coming in, and we will go through as many as we can, and we have a lot of them. Now, there's a lot of praise for Dermot O'Connor getting on top at midfield. At that stage, the Derry boys were truly spent. It was a lot harder for the starting midfielders. How about that point, I presume, Liam, as the game went on? Let's go back maybe and rewind it. You've been selected to play for Kerry. You're inside midfield. There's loads of rumours about all these players playing, not playing, and the whole lot. You come out and all of a sudden you're marking Brendan Rodgers and Conor Glass. Does your mindset change a little bit?
It probably does, really, yeah. Especially if you're a young fella.
Yeah.
But look, I do think Conor.
What would the management say? Does the management have a role then and say, listen, guys,
just go out and play your game?
Is that it?
Yeah, that's mainly. Yeah. You might have a few words to see. Look, that Conor Glass is an attacking midfielder, and you might have to cover that. But I would agree with your listener that Conor did die after the first half. Really, he did. Yeah. You could see that, and the Glyn boys. You could see the three Glyn boys really kind of struggled for the second half. But Brendan Rodgers is a machine, though. In fairness to him, as a midfielder,
he's a David Clifford.
But Dermot did, and to be honest, Barry Dan, I thought when he came on, the game kind of suited him as well as settled him a small bit. But that shows that bit of experience as well that we're talking about. They're around with a while. Barry Dan last year was getting game time, and I think that just shows that you have that little bit of confidence as well, that we're not just thrown in the deep end.
Donal, if you're looking for positives, take the Gainies. Really showed that what they can match it up with the big boys. Graham Sullivan, not bad, or not for the first time, has shown that he's a real championship player. His kick passing was fantastic, and he took his mark well under pressure. The two Gainies first, Liam.
Yeah. Look, the season,
you're looking for a bright spark.
You're looking for a bright spark, and I think we're always talking here.
The goal was taken very well.
Yeah, that we're looking for forwards, natural scorers, and the Gainies are that. And we've seen it with Dingle down through the years, not only last year, and they're going to be a real boost to us this year in the forward line, because if we go back to our Ireland final last year, we just didn't have that spark either coming off the bench or anything. But now we have these guys thrown into the mix now as well, which would be a big addition to us. So yeah, they're
the Drummond man,
and the Drummond man was outstanding. He was man of the match in my thing, yeah. And maybe kind of, and I think you said it a couple of times, that maybe you could play him in other positions as well.
Graham Sullivan from midfield, I've been saying for the last 2 years. Nobody's listening.
His vision for the goal, Donal, was brilliant. Another player to get bottled up, he turned back and gave it back out, like.
And the mark that he got for equalising it as well and kicking around the bar.
In saying that, I mean, he's getting to a stage now where he's not a young player anymore. He had that great All Ireland against Galway. He's just a player who's showing up, playing to the standard which we probably require of everybody.
Exactly, yeah.
But like Liam said, look, he has the experience. He's been there. He's an All Ireland under his belt, and he's a player of confidence. And he took the game to him the last day when it was needed. And you have to say that Dylan Casey finished the goal very well. It was interesting that we two defenders above inside the 21 metre line.
Jason Foley nearly got one as well. He was up there. Hi Donal, can Kerry afford to have the two Clifford brothers on the sideline in this competitive league? Patrick in Killarney. Hi Donal, if anyone on the team, if anyone of the team that played in the All Ireland who weren't tugged out were playing, we would have got the 2 points. Yeah, I suppose if we had a couple more players, that's John from Curra. All as good and all to have football matches. It is not crazy to be playing National League and AIB club finals in January in atrocious weather and then having no football from August onwards when the weather is decent. All senior matches seem to be crammed into 6 months. It's just madness, and that's Dan in Rathmore. And of course, that unfortunately then is the split season. That's what that brought us. It shoved everybody in. Hi lads, what do the panel think of Dublin Joe? The referee, he puts in behind as if no Kerry supporter knew who Dublin Joe was before that comment. Saturday night, 3 listener. Liam Brosnan. Easy one for you to feel.
Easy one.
Tim Moynihan thought he was very good.
He did. A lot of the Derry, a lot of the Kerry supporters underneath us were calling him Derry Joe Saturday night. He wasn't Dublin Joe at all. But yeah, I thought there was a lot of decisions that he was just making it very hard for anyone around him to understand what he was calling it for, and. No, even for the 2 Kerry goals, the Derry crowd were kind of even out about it. But no, he didn't cover himself with glory, and I'd, like John said earlier, that the referees at the moment, I suppose, with the publicity of all this failing tests and this kind of is not doing him any good either. But I still think, and I was glad to read it during the week, that this VAR system that might be coming in, I think that'd be a great thing in it for referees. But I still do, but I can't understand.
Yeah, we're taking about 6.5 hours then.
Well, it doesn't matter. Get the decision right, because we're at a stage now where we have a Kerry team training 5 nights a week, we have a Derry team training 5 nights a week, and we have a referee.
It's an amateur sport
in the middle.
Yeah.
It was an amateur sport, and we have one referee inside and try to manage the whole lot of it. He can't do it. Bring the 2 guys off the sideline, for God's sake, and throw them in, and have 3 referees. We have it below in the complex on a Saturday night. You go down, there's 3 referees in a National League basketball game. We can't do it at one of the biggest sports.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I think the umpires have to be looked at, Liam.
Yeah.
Look at the All-Ireland Club final in the hurling.
That's right, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, Turloughlin Gales, there's no excuse for that. A player, one of the Burks, was 2 or 3 feet over the line with the ball, and the man was standing there and he couldn't see it. I mean, there's no excuse for that.
And John, above in Crow Park, there could be 12 or 13 fellas wired up,
yeah.
And that's what's up there.
Yeah.
Between the umpire's sideline and all these people, they're all wired up. It would take 10 seconds to look at that on the screen and say X, Y and Z and get it. And same with red cards and stuff like that. Big decisions for big games need to be got right, and I think that we're coming to a stage now where I think county boards are going to push it, because we're Kerry are spending 1 point something million to train their Kerry teams, and you want the referee then to make probably not his fault, but make a decision that could cost you an All-Ireland.
We couldn't win a breaking ball at midfield, lads. God be with the days when Darragh O'Shea would just go up and collect it. we're far from Darragh O'Shea days, aren't we? And of course the game has moved on. We simply messed up all the big plays, Donal. I suppose you're referring to the goal chances, obviously. I'd imagine that. Commentator, from 5 points down to get level shows a bit of spirit, especially without the Cliffords. We should not have lost, however, when we got level. Again, we left the Derry player walk down the pitch. Our defence needs to be looked at for their performances, John.
Yeah, it was evident last night, Donald, but you have to look at the positives. We were well beaten in the first half, as we said earlier on, but the second half we came out, we took the game onto them. Jack made a few switches, they worked, we were back in the game. It's the first round of the league. You're against a very strong Derry team with an intent, and I think we learned a lot from it, and we'll put that into use going up to Clonus next weekend. The manner in which we played in the second half, that we took the game onto them, we had the leaders out there, the Graham O'Sullivans, the Joe Connor did quite well, Dermot O'Connor, Barry Dan, Shawnee Shea.
Shawnee Shea's moving well.
Yeah, moving very well. A lot of positives. The two Gainies added a bit of pace to it.
Yeah.
Dylan didn't hesitate when he got the chance. It was an easy one. From people up in the stand say, sure, it was an easy finish, but he still had to put it away, And I think that there was a lot of positives. Disappointing to lose, but look, first round, 2 points gone, we move on.
Yeah, let's wrap it up before we move on to the Monaghan one. And I'm trying to find a positive. I'm trying to find a positive comment on this sheet. I'd say that, to be fair, I think people are a bit harsh maybe on some of the players. We won't read out individual names, obviously, of the players. I don't think it's fair. And that goes back to it being an amateur sport, even though Liam Brosnan thinks it's professional.
It's been ran professionally.
David Clifford to come back in along with Paddy, put Dermot into midfield and add the Gainies, and things won't look so bad. How about that?
Yeah, there's a lot of patterns there. Shawnee Shea's moving well. Don't know if this time you can move Shawnee out there. No, Joe O'Connor seems to be seems to be a man with more, the more games he bet, the more games he gets, I think he'll be a big option
coming
there.
in, a whole stack full of Monaghan. The Cliffords play the next day against Monaghan. Now Jack has ruled them out until round 3. I mean, obviously, I don't know whether they need to have a bit of a niggle, or whether they need just a bit of time, or whether they're just absolutely just need to recharge the batteries, or whatever it is, or they have came back maybe a bit later, or whatever it is. But Jack, as the last press conference said, they weren't coming till the Mayo game. So if you think about it, we have Monaghan next week, we have a week off, and then we have the Mayo game. So that's 3 weeks more to get in. Would you be surprised, Liam Brosnan, to see the Cliffords?
Not one bit. And I think the result with Monaghan and Dublin the weekend, probably after maybe changing the thinking a small bit, because we want to stay playing Division 1 football. We lose next weekend, the heat comes on. We've Mayo down and then the following week, so there's a bit of pressure. Whereas if you're sitting down at the start of the year, and if myself and John were part of the management team, you'll be kind of penciling the Monaghan game as an away game that you could pick up a couple of points, and I think Jack will be doing that as well. So I wouldn't be one bit surprised if we saw the two Cliffords togging out next weekend. And knowing the two boys, I think they'll probably want to tog out, because I know they're back training, and I think they'll be eager to get back in.
Last time, Liam Brosnan, we lost to Derry at home in a league, 2014.
Why don't we ask John Kennedy? He's probably back in his era.
He knows the answer.
He's probably back in the 80s.
Two Kerry players from 2014.
Was it two?
Two Kerry players. They were on the field in 2014 when we lost, and they were on again the last night. Stay away from your programme now, John, will you? God help us. Come on, Liam.
Yeah. 10 years ago.
I know, sure, it's only around the corner, 10 years ago and that long. Are you saying the fellas that played 10 years ago are old now, is it?
Every lot of these guys, a lot of young guys. Did they start on the Kerry team the weekend?
One came on at half time. That should narrow it down for you. Actually, both of them came on as subs. Stephen
O'Brien and
that's one, yeah.
And Dermot O'Connor.
Paul Murphy.
Paul
Murphy, yeah.
Dermot O'Connor was probably about 4 years old in 2014.
10 years ago. He's not that young.
He's not that good. Okay, let's talk about the black card. A lot of comments in very quickly on the black card and the time wasting involved in the black card. John, we saw it again the last night. Derry get a black card, lo and behold, sure, they only took about 2 minutes before something had a blow to the head, and he was on the floor for about 3 minutes taking it off. Something has to be changed on that, surely.
Yeah, it's a common denominator, no, Donal. When you get a black card, you're down. Next play, fella goes down.
And they don't just go down for 30 seconds and tie the shoelaces.
It's defeating the purpose, and it's killing the game. And every team is at it. It's not alone Derry.
Should there be a bigger crime for the black card? As in, like I saw there on Twitter, give some guy a match suspension for a black card.
I don't know about the crime, but like you said there, like it's very easy to stop the clock. So no, we're on about changing. We're on about changing rules, but why are we changing all the rules? Like we won't change the simple things. Stop the clock. If a fella goes out, and it was Joe himself that actually was hopping the ball, and he held it for 2 or 3 minutes, whatever was going on. Like you should be able to stop our clock. Because that was suiting Derry down to the ground.
Of course.
So even the kick-outs with the goalkeeper.
No, to be fair, I would imagine, and I'm not blaming Derry for it, I mean, if it happened with the Kerry fella, at this stage we're nearly training.
And you'd be encouraging it.
You'd be saying, listen, we need some fella to pull a hamstring for a couple of seconds and go way down and kill it. But it's destroying our game, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And you could see Derry, and everyone was kind of running the Mickey Hart, the Black Hearts again, they're back, and all this kind of stuff. It was funny, but when you look at it, I know, like Christian McCaig said about the rules, and that's the way football has gone, but it's not nice. These things aren't, at times, if you saw Kerry boys doing what the Derry boys were doing the weekend, you'd be kind of half embarrassed a small bit at some of the things that were going on. But
would that embarrassment leave you in 15 seconds if it had the desired result of wearing down the clock and getting David Clifford back on again to kick the next 4 scores?
That's what it's all about. It's all about winning. It's all about winning now.
It's all about winning. It's all about money. One of the big news pieces, not this week, well, obviously last week we haven't in, is the naming of grounds, John. Obviously Bernard Casey gets the gold medal for Austin Snack Park, which is pretty cool.
Actually, you have a big one now coming. I think it's going to be announced next week.
John Kennedy Park. Isn't that John Kennedy Park already? No.
No.
I heard he was overlooked for the legend soccer team, actually, John Kennedy.
And the boot spot and everything.
Leading scorer for ST. Was it United or ST City?
ST Rovers. We might get the call up.
We're looking at Ivan outside. We're disappointed that the legends went.
Just as bad for Morris Fitzpatrick showed in.
In fairness, it's a very good cause, on a serious note. Very good cause, and hope that there'll be a big crowd at it, because that's reality, to be fair.
And we'd be worried about small things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Go back to Páirc Uí Chaoimh. I saw a guy there shouting at the week saying if people were really serious about Páirc Uí Chaoimh, surely 1,000 people would give €1,000 to keep the name there.
Good point.
Would they though?
But would they? Yeah.
Well, the answer is no, they wouldn't have. Can the GA really, John, afford to not take money from sponsors?
I don't think so, Donald. You know, there's huge money involved in preparing teams now. You know, Páirc Uí Chaoimh is a super stadium, but it comes at a cost. And, you know, there'll be something similar in Fitzgerald Stadium, I presume. Maybe not to the same extent, but when you spend money, it's difficult to collect. You know, clubs are working now on pitches and on grounds, and they're developing their facilities. It's all money. So, you know, I think if you get a donation like that, you don't turn it away. Like the game, we have to move with the times, and, you know, maybe incorporate.
Yeah, incorporate the names.
I'd imagine every Cork supporter was always forever more going to call it Páirc Uí Chaoimh regardless, and it was going to be known as Super Value Páirc Uí Chaoimh or Super Value Park or whatever it was. But we are looking at that reality, Liam. I mean, Fitzgerald Stadium are looking to do up their premises and the whole lot in a number of years' time. They have a huge project in. They're looking for a lot of money, government dependent. Obviously, they go back to the community looking to collect a bit more money as well. Something like this is possible to be on the table.
Oh, it is. Look, and as supporters, I have often listened to Radio Kerry where supporters rang in about the toilets aren't good enough and everything. You need money to get all these things right, and that's what the county boards are looking at for this. Now, like it or don't like it, that's the way the world has gone now. No, it's things don't run on fresh air anymore, and even running Kerry teams from minors all the way up both codes, it costs big money.
Yeah. And like Liam, people out there, I saw comments about relation to Cork last week about where's all the money in the GA going. We've been involved in teams, both as players and management. The amount of money that's been spent in preparing the teams, meals, medical facilities, expenses, having a doctor, having physios present, all that, you know, overnights in hotels.
And they're all things that are only fair to give players.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you try out for Kerry, you should have a doctor, you should have a physio, you should have the best food, or you should have the best.
And to be fair to the Kerry County Board, you know, I've never heard the Kerry player giving out about what's been done. And likewise, in other counties, we never hear it. Maybe exceptional circumstances, but the money is being spent. It might be coming in through the turnstiles, but it's certainly going out again. And the people that haven't been involved, it is easy to be critical and say, where's the money going? But it is being put back into the teams.
There's no need for you to stand beside a washing machine anymore, John, is there?
No need anymore, Don.
No. Did that really happen, did it?
Did?
All right, well, we'll talk about that the next time. He was trying to put something into it. We'll talk about that next time because we're running out of time, lads. 20 seconds, Liam. Can we go to Monaghan and get a result? Based on what you've seen.
We can go to Monaghan and get a result, but it's going to be tough.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yes, we can get we can get a result. I think this game
we'll win by 6 points.
We won't win by 6 points. So it'll be a lot closer. I'd be happy with a 3-point win.
3-point win. Yeah. John Kennedy?
It's going to be a difficult match. Vinny Corey has a lot of young fellas.
Will we win?
I think we will.
Okay.
But we might have to beef up that squad a bit.
Will we have to get the Cliffords out?
Yeah. I'll be bringing them anyway. I know when I drive, I'll take them.